Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is 𝐷𝐂𝐒, and on this channel we talk about health, wellness, biohacking, recovery, lifestyle optimization, all that fun stuff. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be talking about bulletproofing your feet so that you will be resilient from injury. You can walk as much as you want to walk. You can rock out barefoot shoes and have no problems, because as you may or may not know, if you're transitioning to barefoot shoes, you need to strengthen your feet, your ankles, your knees, everything that supports your gait. And Mr. Skip Kelly here has been helping people recover from injuries for over a decade. He's also worked with the Olympic team, professional athletes, MLB players, NBA players, hockey players, soccer players, whatever kind of players that you are or have heard of, you name it, he has worked with them. We're going to talk about how to strengthen thy foot and make sure that you're living a bulletproof lifestyle. So let's get into it. All right, I'm here with Skip, and he's going to show us how to bulletproof thy feet. This is really important. This is something I'm trying to learn myself, because my feet, my ankles, my hips, my knees, they have not been working the way that I would like them to work, and I am walking a lot. And so when you're going to be doing a lot of movement, it's important that we get this right. So Skip, please walk us through how you would go about bulletproofing your feet.
Okay, so when it comes to bulletproofing the feet, making them resilient, having them do well after a long day of walking or jogging or running or standing at a theme park with the family, right? I think about three things. I think about the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. The pillars underneath the water are actually the feet and the toes. The bridge itself is the knees, and the suspension wires are really the trunk, spine, and hips, guiding the bridge. So in a big storm, that those kind of have that give and take, and they can communicate with the other structural variables of the Golden Gate Bridge. So we want to connect with the feet, yes, and that's the first thing that we're going to do. So for the very first exercise, we're going to come here. We're going to make sure we get our toes together, right? So they're not splayed like that, they're actually together. And then we're just going to curl our big toes down. So don't worry about curling the other toes, but curl the big toes, but specifically curl the big toes through the tip of the toe, not just pushing down into the ground. So it would look like that, not that, okay? So curling the big toes down into the ground, and then holding that curl at a 1% intensity, okay? So we're holding that curl. Come on, do this with me now. Holding that curl. Now let's add the second toes. It's okay if they all contract, that's totally fine. Over time, you'll get better at contracting each toe individually by itself as you connect with these muscles more deeply, and by connecting with them, they actually get stronger, and that's how connection works in this electrical system of the body for the dojo. Let's go to the third toes, let's add that in. So now we've got big toe, second toe, third toe contracting. Bring your awareness into the bottom of the feet. The toe muscles actually run from the length of the toe like this, all the way through the bottom of the foot, up through the back of the calf. So it goes all the way up through there and through the back side. Let's add the fourth toe. Bring that awareness to the bottom of the foot, contracting that fourth toe, curling through the tip of that toe, and add the fifth toe, the pinkies, getting both sides to be symmetrical. Now we've got all 10 toes working at a 1% intensity, beautifully low intensity, bringing our awareness down to the bottom of the feet, up through the calves, squeezing those muscles, okay? Now raise that intensity up, squeeze harder, squeeze all 10 toes. Now bring it down to 1% again. Ease off, 1% intensity, as low as you can squeeze and still feel them working. And now gently release the toes, let them come up slowly, and then lift the toes up gently, let them relax. And now very slowly, we're gonna go back into that curl, curling all 10 toes back down into the ground, lightly squeezing, very, very gentle. And then slowly come back up and relax and walk around and just go nice and slow. See how that feels. There's going to be some differences. There's going to be some changes in the way that your body moves. Your hips move, your knees move after that. And we're going to go on to the second exercise, which is going to involve lifting the toes. Now again, for these ones, these toe muscles actually go from here all the way up to here, okay? These muscles go really high, so they cross a lot of joints in the ankle and in the foot and in up to the knee. So we're going to take our toes, we're going to lift just the big toe up off the ground. Again, we're lifting through the tip of the toe, so like that, not just lifting like that, but really curling through that tip up into the air, okay? And then we're going to add the second toe awareness, the third toe, the fourth toe, the fifth toe. All 10 toes are lifting, but allow your focus to shift from the big toe to the second toes, to the third toes, going up the shin, on the top of the foot, the whole length of it. The 4th toes, the 5th toes, allowing those to contract. As we move out to those 5th toes, go ahead and let your ankles shift inwards. And what that'll do is it'll allow you to focus on the outside of your foot on either side. And then we're going to shift our awareness from 5th to 4th to 3rd to 2nd to big toe, and allowing our awareness to shift to the inside of the feet. The top side going like this, and then coming back to neutral. Raise up that intensity, squeeze harder, squeeze harder. Now bring it down to 1% intensity, focusing on all 10 toes, lifting, connecting with them, strengthening that bond that you have with them, allowing that body intelligence to go up so that they can work more beautifully for you throughout the day, and then slowly relax and walk around. See how that feels. Oh yeah, much more like springy, right? Everyone's gonna have a little bit of a different reaction. If it's not so extreme for you right out of the gate, that's okay. Practice makes progress. So going beyond that, we're gonna go into the knees now, because if the knees have more connection, they can help distribute force off of the feet. A lot of the time what people end up doing is they strengthen the feet so that they work really hard, but then these other things aren't working very hard, so then your feet are sore, they're beat up, because they're doing a great job for you. So we wanna give them some help, we wanna give them some allies. So for this next exercise, we're gonna have our foot out in front, left knee is gonna be bent, and then we're gonna straighten this quad, lock this knee out. We're gonna be focusing on the thighs here, the quads. These are the guys that really absorb force for us, or the girls that absorb force for us, okay? You're gonna go 1% intensity, feeling them work. You can use something to balance if you want, like a tree or a tripod or a chair or a friend. And then raise that intensity up to 80%, squeezing those muscles, raise that intensity up. Bring it back down to 1%. Gentle, gentle, teach those muscles that it's perfectly okay to work gently, okay? And then really slowly, you're gonna bring that foot down to the ground, controlling through the quad, tap the ground, and then raise back up really slow at that 1% intensity. And then slowly bring it down. We're teaching those muscles to work gently, smoothly through these motions. Then we're going to the left side, same exact thing, okay? Left foot's out in front, right knee is now bent, stabilizing on that right side. Locking that left knee out at that 1% intensity. Feel those quads, feel the thighs. Getting that connection, feeling the inside, feeling the outside, feeling the whole length of the quad. Now raise that intensity up to 80%. Raise it up, raise it up. Now bring it down to 1% intensity. Very gentle. Now let that knee bend, coming down to the ground. Tap the ground, raise it back up at that 1% intensity, teaching it how to move smoothly through that motion, and slowly relax. We're gonna move on to the back side of the knee, stabilizing the other side. So we're here. You're gonna take right foot behind, left knee is bent. You're gonna lift that right heel up, probably using something for balance here. We're focusing on the hamstrings now. There's an outside and an inside hamstring. Bringing that heel up to touch the butt, or as close as you can go comfortably, at 1% intensity. And then we're gonna squeeze those muscles, flex them at that 80% intensity, bring it back down to 1% now. Gentle, gentle. It doesn't have to be max range of motion, just whatever feels comfortable for you. And then slowly allow that foot to come down, tap the ground, and then raising it back up into the air at that 1%, controlling that beautiful slow movement and frequency. And then bringing it back down to the ground, relaxing. Then we're gonna switch sides. We're gonna take that left foot behind, right knee is bent, stabilized, using something for balance if you need to. Lifting that left heel up into the air at that 1% intensity, focusing on feeling the inside and the outside of that hamstring, squeezing those muscles. Now raise it up to 80% intensity, squeeze those muscles, engage them, feel them and fatigue them. Now bring it down to 1% intensity, feeling them, calming them down. Slowly bring the foot down to the ground, tap the ground, raising back up through that motion, heel up towards the butt, and then slowly come all the way down in control and relax. Now we're gonna move on to the hips. So now the knees, you can walk around, see how that feels. Nice and light, nice and engaged, maybe a little bit of fatigue, but fatigue is good because when we fatigue muscles in a nice peaceful way like this, we're gonna get more of that BDNF, brain derived neurotrophic factor, all the precursors for these feel-good hormones. This is what exercise is really about, right? Okay, so we've got the right leg that's pulled out in front of us. The left knee is bent now. We're gonna have the foot on the ground the whole time during this motion. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna gently squeeze the inside muscles of your thigh, the adductors, the one that bring your legs in. We're gonna slowly draw a semicircle with our leg, squeezing the various hip muscles along the route. As we come out to the side, you're now gonna feel these muscles engage on the outside of your hip pretty intensely. As you feel those engage, really feel them. Bring it to that low intensity, that 1% intensity. We're doing that beautiful slow rep, drawing that circle around us, squeezing now as we get to the backside, to the glutes. There's an upper part of your glute, a middle part of your glute, and a lower part of your glute. And as we get all the way around to the back, we cross that midline of the body. We're feeling the inductors or adductors again on the backside. And then we're gonna bring it back around in that circle, all the way around, feeling every single thing on the hip that's focused on as we move around in this circle. Coming back around to the front and relaxing. We're gonna take the other leg out in front. So right knee is now bent, left leg is forward, bringing it across the midline of the body, getting that inner thigh to engage and work, keeping the right knee bent. We're gonna draw that semicircle again. We're not going to max range of motion, we're just going as far as we need to feel these muscles comfortably. As we bring it to the side of the body, we're feeling the outer hip engage. As we bring it to the back of the body, we're feeling the glutes engage tremendously. Really feeling them participate and work and connect with your brain, with your awareness, squeezing them. Now bringing it back around, drawing that semicircle again with the body, feeling these muscles work and engage, feeling them and fatiguing them, and slowly relaxing. And now walk around and see how that feels. Now those feet have something to rely on. They have good communication from their higher ups, and they're getting the right information to be able to stabilize you and take some of the pressure off of your feet. We're going into our last exercise now. So we're bringing that right leg out in front again, left knee is bent. We're gonna bring that knee, bending it, that hip all the way up into the air now, coming up towards your chest. Allow your chest and your abdominals to engage and to come down towards that knee. Squeezing these hip flexors at the lowest intensity that you can, 1%, and then slowly bringing it down to the ground, kicking that leg back into that hip extension, feeling those muscles engage, feeling them squeeze, keeping the foot relaxed if you can, squeezing those glute muscles, coming forward, back up into that hip flexion, squeezing, bringing it towards your chest, feeling them work at a beautiful low intensity, and then bringing it down, and kicking back as far as you can go comfortably, allowing those muscles to work, and coming back to neutral and relaxing. Bending the right knee, taking the left leg out in front, raising that knee bent, bringing it up, squeezing those muscles, feeling them engage, feeling them work, slowly bringing it back and down, back behind your body, flexing those glute muscles, flexing those hip extensors, squeezing that back a little bit, and then coming back forward, all doing this at this beautiful low 1% intensity. So much of the time, our muscles want to squeeze at this really high intensity. They think that's what it's all about, but really, it's about the dynamic between 1% and 100%, bringing it down, coming back, going to that hip extension, teaching these muscles to work at this beautiful low intensity where they can support you and live daily life without working so hard. And slowly relax. And walk around and feel the bulletproofing of your feet and how now your hips and your knees are guiding your feet into more beautiful motion, taking that pressure off of them, allowing them all to work together as a team, as a family.
So we have these exercises, Skip. Why are these exercises good other than, the Golden Gate Bridge analogy of like the suspension cables that are, how these things up the chain are working with our feet? Like what is actually happening as we're doing these exercises?
Yep. So a couple different things are happening as we do this. The way that your body gets, let's call it smooth movement, is through the system of cartilage, which is between the bones, right, in the joints. But the cartilage is actually like sandpaper if you were to just take it out and just have cartilage on cartilage. It's not very smooth. The way it gets smooth is lubrication, and that lubrication is produced through really nice muscle control, assuming you have all the nutritional requirements like water and hydration, right? But once you have that, as you move muscles well, your body secretes the synovial fluid that really smooths the joint motion out for you. But that can only happen, like I said, with good muscle control. So by exposing these like bigger ranges of motion in a really controlled, calm fashion where it fatigues the muscle but doesn't destroy the muscle and doesn't beat it up, doesn't produce that much neurogenic inflammation, kind of the far side of, like, you know, when you work out too hard and you're like, oh, I gotta like throw up. If you are not able to recover from it, not as much of that synovial fluid, not as much of the BDNF that we talked about earlier. So basically, by doing these bigger motions, by exposing more of these joint ranges of motion, we get more of that lubrication in these joints as well, which is going to help the long-term health of all of the joints that we're working on. In addition to that, by working on 3 different parts of that chain, the hips, the knees, and the feet and toes themselves, we're getting all of that synovial fluid, compounding, right, of all these joints, but we're also getting that really fine-tuned muscle control and muscle stimulation, which will lead to better muscle control subconsciously as well. Like, you won't even necessarily realize it, but your body intelligence, what I call, or body IQ, is actually raising as we connect to these muscles consciously, so that they will now work subconsciously for you going into the future a lot better.
I get we're connecting to the muscles, we're creating this joint lubrication through the synovial fluid, and we're building more body awareness, but don't we also have to like actually increase the strength or you know, the access to strength, and like actually build? Like for me, I feel like my legs are just, they're really skinny, you know, and they don't have a lot of like muscle, and I might have sprained some of these. So like, are there other exercises that I need to do in order to actually like add more strength? Or
it really depends on what you need out of your body.
Yeah.
If you need to be able to back squat lots of weight, if you need to be able to power lift, if you need to be able to hike mountains, then yes, you probably want to not only do these exercises to make sure the muscles stay connected, but you also want to fatigue them at greater intensities over time. However, if it's day-to-day life, you know, you're doing a couple miles running, you're just trying to feel good and be healthy, you could just do this on a regular basis and, you know, do your 10, 15,000 steps in a day, and you're going to be like a very healthy individual. So these exercises, when done consistently, will take care of your body completely, along with other variations on these exercises, because obviously we're only doing like your hips, your knees, and your feet here, and there's lots of other things that you could do. So variety is the spice of life, and it's also the key to a good body. But you don't necessarily have to do a lot more than this to have like a really healthy, strong body, because strength doesn't come from weightlifting. Strength comes from connection, and then weightlifting allows you to get more bone mass. You know, running, things like that allow you to get that tendon strength, ligament strength by stressing the joints and muscles when they're healthy. But if they're not healthy, doing things like this will get them there, so that you can start to experiment with those other things, whether that be yoga, Pilates, weightlifting, hiking, whatever it is that you want to do.
Okay, so how do we know if the joint, muscles, tendons, ligaments are healthy? And like, when can we decide to like, okay, now it's time to add some more stress to the system in order to create that adaptation that you're talking about?
Well, for every person it's going to be a little bit different, but I always say there's like 6 basic movements, if you want to stand up and I'll show them real quick, that people can look at to see if you've just got like generally a good system. And that is squat. So here, I'll go sideways for you can see. So feet are going to be straight here, making sure the feet are straight. This is a rare thing that people are capable of doing. Arms are going to stay at the side, not out front. Arms are going to stay here, and we're coming down into that squat position. If you can do a nice Asian squat like this, and you can do it with your feet straight and stay balanced, you're probably doing pretty well. So that's number 1. Number 2 is a lunge. So we're here, we're taking one leg back, keeping the weight on the heel and the midfoot on the front side, and we're coming down. Can we just comfortably do that and stand up on both sides? So that's the next one. Then we've got push. So just here, what you can do is you can kind of push into a wall, or you can push forward or find something to push against. Make sure that you can flex these muscles and squeeze them, and that feels comfortable. You can bring your arms back into a pull motion. So you can go here, squeezing those muscles, making sure that as you flex them back, they feel good. Bring your arms up overhead. See if that feels comfortable. Bringing it down. Bringing your arms back behind you, making sure that feels comfortable. Bringing it down. Going here, rotating the body. Rotating the body. Making sure that feels comfortable. Hinging the body, bending. Making sure that feels comfortable. Making sure your body can do that motion. It doesn't have to touch the toes, but basically you don't want to end up with any sort of pain or strain in these motions. This is an easy way to see if the ligaments, the tendons are doing well. So those are all the basic motions. Beyond that, there's another video that Kyle can link up here where we covered walk, jog, run, and sprint, and you can kind of test those mechanics as well. But it's kind of like a trick question, because testing your tendon and ligament health and your muscle health really is dependent on what you want out of your own body. So if you're a high performance athlete, you're probably not asking that question. But if you're someone who's kind of doing the basics and just trying to feel better every day, these are a really good way to test and see how the body's doing.
In my mind, like where my head is going is like, what about like people who are like pronated like inwards and they're walking like and collapsing and stuff like that? So it's like, what about that?
No matter what's going on with your feet, whether your feet are pronating or supinating, or if you have really bad dorsiflexion or plantar flexion, ultimately, you know, you want to be exposing these muscles to high quality movement, and you want to be walking, you know, barefoot or with toe socks or minimalist shoes to the best of your ability. Unless you're very unhealthy in that scenario, you might want to look at the Thrive Dojo, the actual business I've built around helping people with more extreme issues. But no matter what the problem is, the answer is almost always exposing the muscles to high quality connection with you, and just spending time with them, giving them that tender love and care by contracting them at that 1% intensity, exposing them to that higher intensity for a little bit, and then bringing them back down and helping them relax, helping them connect with you, and then moving them gently through these ranges of motion, which is the same pattern, the same protocol we did for all the exercises in this video. And then there's many other videos we're making and have made that you can go and kind of explore this topic if you need more help.
So we have the exercises now and the routines. What's our cadence? Right? How often are we doing this? You know, how many sets, and like how many, what's the frequency, times per week? Like, what does that look like?
It depends on if you're warming up and cooling down from something, or if you're using this as your primary way of exercise, right? So let's say you're a normal person who's doing like 10,000 steps a day, and that's your goal. You're walking in maybe some barefoot shoes that have been stressing your feet out, and that's why you're really working on bulletproofing your feet. Or you're like a more weekend warrior, casual runner. You're doing, you know, 3 to 5 miles per run or less. In that scenario, you want to be doing these exercises. You want to be doing 2 or 3 reps. You want to be taking your time, you know, 30 seconds per rep for each thing before and after you do the walking or the running. And that should take you no more than 5 minutes to do everything we did in this video. It's the curling, the extending, the knee flexing, the circles with both hips, 2 reps of each of these things, and then the up and down with the hip flexion and hip extension, right? So you're just kind of running your body through these motions, getting that synovial fluid, getting that healthy muscle contraction, getting the BDNF, and getting your body prepared and connected to do way more work for you when you do your weekend warriorness. If you're someone who's a more serious athlete, this is something you want to be doing and more every single day. You know, you definitely want to be starting your day with this, doing this pre-workout, making sure you're very connected to the muscles before you challenge them or strain them in your either athletic endeavors, you know, training really hard, or performance, of course.
Once a day? Twice a day?
For the average individual, do it anytime you're getting ready to go out for your run or your exercise. If it's 3 times per week, that's amazing. If you're an athlete, it's an everyday thing. But it shouldn't just be these exercises. There's plenty more that you should be doing, because you really want to be stimulating all the muscles in your body in a given week, just like you would do a workout where like a regular weightlifting split might be like a chest day, a back day, a legs day, and like a core day. So similarly with doing these types of exercises, you want to break it into days like that potentially, where you're doing a day where you're focusing on the front side of your upper body, the back side of your upper body, and a day just giving love to the legs and hips. But you could always splice that and change it too.
So there you go. There's the protocol for bulletproofing your feet for your average day person. We also talked a little bit about the athlete and the performance side of things and frequency of training and what that looks like. We're going to be doing more videos around these subjects, because honestly, guys, I'm using this as an opportunity to get free coaching from Skip, and he's teaching me these things, and I'm sharing them with you as we go through it, and we can all do this together. So if you've seen any of the other videos, start building this into your protocol. I'm going to start building it into my protocol, and we can all start getting better together. And as we progress, we can start stressing the muscles more. We can start working them out, connecting to them first, obviously, but then starting to create some more adaptations so we can make gains, right? And those gains can stay and hold for a very long time.
There's a lot more to teach, but we'll make more content, and I know Kyle's got a big long journey he wants to go through with this, and I'll make sure we cover as much as we can.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. I hope you found value in this. I know I learned a bunch, so hit that like button. It really does help get this information out to more people. Really appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing if you're not already. Leave me a comment. Let me know and leave me a comment down below if you're having trouble with your feet, what is going on? We'd love to help you. Again, my name is 𝐊𝐲 and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Be well. Peace.